Hi, strangewordsmusic here. Let's dive into Jim Morrison and Pamela Courson's tragic love affair. Jim Morrison, the enigmatic frontman of The Doors, and Pamela Courson, his longtime partner and muse, shared a relationship that was as tumultuous as it was passionate. Their story is one of love, obsession, and self-destruction. Fueled by drugs, alcohol, and volatile emotions, their connection was both the fire that ignited their creativity and the force that led to their tragic downfalls. This article will explore the complex dynamics between Morrison and Courson, examining how their relationship spiraled into mutual destruction and left an indelible mark on the world of music and culture. Jim Morrison met Pamela Courson in 1965 at a nightclub in Los Angeles. Pamela was a bohemian spirit with striking beauty and a free-spirited nature that captivated Morrison instantly. Jim, then a budding poet and musician, was equally drawn to her rebellious attitude and mysterious charm. Their connection was instantaneous, but their relationship quickly revealed itself to be anything but conventional. They shared a deep emotional bond, but also brought out the worst in each other. Pamela became Morrison's muse, inspiring some of The Doors' most iconic songs such as Love Street and Orange County Suite. However, their shared penchant for living on the edge foreshadowed the turbulence to come. From the start, Jim and Pamela's relationship was marked by volatility. Both were prone to intense emotions and destructive behaviors, creating a toxic dynamic. Morrison's fame and rockstar lifestyle exacerbated their issues, introducing a whirlwind of temptation, jealousy, and substance abuse. Jim Morrison was notorious for his promiscuity. As The Doors' fame skyrocketed, he indulged in countless affairs with groupies and other women. Pamela, too, was unfaithful, engaging in relationships with other men during their frequent separations. Despite their open infidelities, they both exhibited extreme jealousy. Pamela often demanded Jim's attention and became enraged when he ignored her for other women. Their possessiveness fueled constant arguments, which often escalated into physical altercations. Friends and bandmates described their fights as intense and unpredictable, with Jim's erratic behavior clashing with Pamela's fiery temper. Drugs and alcohol played a central role in their relationship. Morrison was infamous for his heavy drinking, which often left him unpredictable and belligerent. Pamela, who introduced Morrison to heroin, was also struggling with her own substance abuse. Their shared addiction created a dangerous feedback loop, as they enabled each other's destructive habits. Morrison's drinking and drug use often led to public outbursts and erratic performances, while Pamela's heroin addiction made her increasingly dependent on him. Instead of helping each other, they dragged each other deeper into addiction, with their home becoming a chaotic refuge for their mutual self-destruction. While Morrison's fame and inner demons certainly contributed to his downward spiral, Pamela's influence on his life was undeniable. She was often seen as both his greatest love and his greatest weakness. Pamela played a complex role in Jim's addiction. She encouraged his indulgences, whether it was alcohol, drugs, or reckless behavior. Some accounts suggest that Pamela introduced Jim to harder substances such as cocaine and heroin, further worsening his already precarious lifestyle. Her own addiction also meant that she was unable to provide stability or support. Instead, she fueled Morrison's self-destructive tendencies, often partying alongside him and escalating their mutual chaos. Their relationship was less about healing and more about feeding each other's darkest impulses. Pamela inspired much of Morrison's work, but her presence also weighed heavily on him. She demanded his attention and often clashed with The Doors members and Morrison's friends, creating tension within his personal and professional circles. Her fiery temperament and frequent outbursts made her a polarizing figure in Jim's life. In many ways, Pamela was both Jim's anchor and his storm. She provided the emotional intensity that inspired his art, but also drained him with her demands and unpredictable behavior. While Pamela had her own issues, her relationship with Morrison exacerbated her struggles. As much as she enabled his destructive habits, he also played a role in her eventual decline. Pamela's identity became deeply intertwined with Morrison's. While he achieved fame and recognition, she remained in the shadows, known primarily as Jim Morrison's girlfriend. This dynamic left Pamela feeling insecure and unfulfilled, leading her to seek solace in drugs and material possessions. Morrison's erratic behavior and frequent infidelities also took an emotional toll on Pamela. Her jealousy and feelings of inadequacy deepened her dependence on drugs, as she sought an escape from the pain of their volatile relationship. Pamela relied heavily on Morrison for financial support. He often lavished her with expensive gifts and provided for her lifestyle, but this dependency created a power imbalance. Pamela's reliance on Jim left her vulnerable and unable to build an independent life. After Morrison's death, Pamela inherited his estate, including the royalties from the Doors' music. However, this inheritance only deepened her struggles as it funded her continued drug use and exacerbated her isolation. By 1971, Morrison's lifestyle had taken a significant toll on his health. Overweight, bloated from alcohol, and emotionally exhausted, he retreated to Paris with Pamela, hoping to escape the pressures of fame and find solace. Instead, their time in Paris became the final chapter in their tragic story. On July 3, 1971, Jim Morrison was found dead in the bathtub of their Paris apartment. The official cause of death was listed as heart failure, though rumors of a drug overdose have persisted. Pamela was the only witness to his final hours, and her inconsistent accounts of the events have fueled speculation and mystery. Despite the toxicity, Pamela played a significant role in Jim's life and artistic development. She was his confidant, his muse, and one of the few people who truly understood the depth of his artistic ambitions. Jim dedicated several poems to her, and often referred to her as his cosmic mate. Pamela also influenced Jim's decision to spend his final months in Paris. She believed the city's bohemian culture would provide a creative refuge for Jim, away from the pressures of fame and the chaos of the Doors' touring schedule. However, their time in Paris was anything but peaceful. The couple's substance abuse worsened and their fights became more frequent. Friends who visited them during this period described a relationship on the brink of collapse, with both parties deeply unhappy but unwilling to part ways. When Pamela Courson discovered Jim Morrison dead in the bathtub of their Paris apartment, no autopsy was performed, leaving the exact circumstances of his death shrouded in mystery. Pamela's account of the events leading up to Jim's death has been inconsistent, adding to the speculation and conspiracy theories surrounding the tragedy. She claimed that Jim had been coughing up blood the night before and decided to take a bath to feel better. However, some have questioned whether Pamela's own heroin use played a role in his death, either directly or indirectly. Pamela's erratic behavior after Jim's death further fueled suspicion. She refused to allow close friends or family to see Jim's body before it was buried, and became increasingly withdrawn. Morrison's death devastated Pamela, who became even more reliant on heroin to cope with the loss. She returned to the US, but her life continued to spiral out of control. Pamela Courson's life after Morrison's death was marked by grief, addiction, and instability. She struggled to come to terms with his loss and the overwhelming responsibility of managing his estate. Her addiction worsened, and she became increasingly isolated from friends and family. On April 25, 1974, less than 3 years after Morrison's death, Pamela died of a heroin overdose at the age of 27, the same age as Morrison when he passed. Her death cemented her place in the infamous 27 Club, alongside her lover and other legendary artists like Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix. The relationship between Jim Morrison and Pamela Courson was as iconic as it was tragic. Their love was intense and passionate, but it was also toxic and destructive. Together, they created a world of chaos, addiction, and heartbreak that ultimately consumed them both. Their story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of addiction, fame, and unchecked passion. Yet, despite the tragedy, their love and creativity left a lasting impact on music and culture. Morrison's lyrics and the Doors' music continue to inspire generations, while Pamela's role as his muse remains a testament to the complexities of their relationship. In the end, Jim Morrison and Pamela Courson were two kindred spirits who found each other in a chaotic world but were unable to save themselves or each other from destruction. Their lives remain a poignant reminder of the fine line between love and self-destruction. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Jim Morrison and Pamela Courson's complex and controversial love story. Whether you see him as a misunderstood genius or a divisive figure, his impact on music and culture is undeniable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Jim Morrison and Pamela Courson's sad end?